Today, it's all about the comic book action. We've got a special guest today going to answer the question on comic books. Are they still a viable thingamabob in today's crazy society? Here on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Hello there. So who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show, Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, the most illustrious, the one who's fighting this crazy Y2K bug 24 years later, Mr. Michael Shanks. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks out there in Geekdom land. Oh yeah, steal my joke, man.
I know it is Mike's joke, everybody. He chatted it to me through Facebook yesterday because he was like, "Are you affected? No, are you affected?" He goes, "Oh my, oh my."
Yeah, we were affected quite a bit at work. At home, I'm not. I got a Mac, dude. Macs don't get affected by that crap.
I knew that was coming.
Of course you did.
I deserve it. That's pretty good. That's pretty funny. Well, hey, we've got a special guest with us today, and I'm very excited. He's got a Kickstarter campaign on comic books. He's a writer, but we're going to talk all about that project, all about his Kickstarter. We're going to talk about storytelling. We're going to talk about writing, and we may get into some crazy topics too, as well as we go along. And I'm pretty excited. I want to introduce, or do you want to introduce, Mike? Do you want to say who our guest is today?
Well, like you said, we have a comic creator, and his name is Christian Douglas. Everybody give a big hand to Christian Douglas. Yay!
Thank you. I want to dedicate this cow to my family who believe in me. No. We had a lot of that last week. Was fantastic. Because everybody was rooting against England, and even that we want to live in Evil Island. So everyone was, yes, please win, Spain win. Don't let them win. We're not gonna stop hearing about them for another 60 years. So please, don't let them win.
Yeah, we got a new soccer team, and I live in the St. Louis, Missouri area. I live in Illinois, but I live, in the St. Louis metro area, and we got a new soccer team that's been pretty good. So. Have you guys heard anything about St. Louis? It's St. Louis City. I think they just call them City. Or
okay, it's in the MSL League, the one with the Miami and the Galaxy and all those.
Yes.
You guys get in there. No worries.
Okay,
50 years,
let's get in there.
You have a good team.
Real quick, I want to say hey to Wookie's Movies and Music. Hey, all Wookie. I know it's not Wookie, but I mean, it's Wookie's Music. Check out his thing. He's always interviewing people, podcasts, talking about movies, talking about all kinds of geeky stuff, and so he's a lot of fun. So
I almost thought you said Wookie for a minute there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Okay, Star Wars already? Okay.
Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, guilty as charged. Okay. Well, hey everybody, we've got a jam-packed show today. So we're not going to have any geeky news, but we are going to have something on Geektar. Mike had something on Geektar they want to talk about. Some of you may be asking, are you guys going to talk about the Acolyte? We don't know yet. I know it just finished.
I'll have to get a full bottle of tequila to talk about the Acolytes. Sorry. It would be a good excuse to go buy some good tequila, though.
Who needs an excuse?
Well, really, I don't, but I want to justify it, All right, let's jump into Geektar real quick.
Sounds like a plan.
Control with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with it?
I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what? The what? And the what?
You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps.
That's not all he's lost.
Great Mike Winslow.
That.
Oh, I don't.
All right.
Okay.
All right. What you got
So-
for Geekdar?
So a little while back, I had a Geekdar of DC Comics put out a new version of the fourth issue of A Death in the Family, where Robin dies, and
right. Mhm.
and they had the alternate ending, because
Right,
when
you
they
called
originally,
was it a call in? It was
Yes.
a call in, wasn't it?
yes, originally back in the 80s when it was released, there was a phone number you could call and vote on whether you wanted Robin to live or you wanted Robin to die. And I called and wanted Robin to die because I hated Jason Todd at the time.
We all did,
Yes.
brother. We all did.
Yes, I'm terrible. but now I got to admit, I love Jason Todd after everything happened. So they released that alternate ending and they are continuing it. This is so freaking cool. So it's a part of DC's From the Vault series. And this is issue number 1 of Robin Lives. So it is the continuing story of Jason Todd after he survived the Joker ordeal. And this is a 4-part series. So we plan to cover this on the show.
Yeah, because the new DC logo goes cha-ching, cha-ching.
I got a feeling Christian's gonna be fun today.
Cha-ching. So why don't we think of it? Hey, Snyder did it. Why don't we do it? Hey, who's sleeping on the wheel here? Come on, people.
Right.
Get it out.
I love it. So I am super pumped about Robin Lives. I have not read the issue yet, but I'm going to very soon.
Who's joining?
Real quick prediction. Do you think he'll still become the Red Hood?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Let's see. The art
So it's gonna be like Scar or something, or
Yeah.
Drama.
I wonder. Yeah.
see.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Maybe-
that's a post-traumatic stress kind of situation.
exactly.
I mean, if they still continue with all the way up to the point, but he lives, holy cow.
Right.
With
Oh
the
yeah.
car and the explosion and yeah.
The artist is Rick Leonardi.
Okay.
I don't know him, honestly. I don't know his work. So far the artwork looks beautiful though. I'm impressed with it. And the cover art was great. It's fantastic. And I love the fact that they put Batman holding the Joker in opposed to Batman holding Robin on the original.
Oh, okay. So because he's going after him. All right. Okay, I know where he's going.
It makes me intrigued. I'm intrigued with that cover. I'd be like, oh yeah.
It's very intriguing cover. Like I said, I haven't dug into the story, but I got a feeling Robin will still turn to the Red Hood. It might be slightly different how he does it. He's not going to have to go through the Lazarus pit, obviously. So
yeah.
But like you said, that psychology's, that's in his brain of being beaten nearly to death by the Joker. So
yeah, think of all the characters who came from have a very similar story. Like hey, they almost died, or they were forgotten. That everybody thought they died. So and then they come back. So it makes even more sense than the original.
Interesting. Yeah.
exactly.
Yep. Real quick, I want to say hey to Sam. Say Sam.
Hey Sam.
Samuel, what's up, man?
Nice. All right, we ready to jump into
The main event.
Yes. Oh yeah. I got to do the sounder.
That's all right.
I got excited.
Me too. It's time for the main event.
Oh shit, I gotta get my mask. Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
Huge fan of wrestling, man. And I think that those two worlds are very intertwined, the comics and the wrestling worlds.
Yeah.
The people who follow those two, they tend to really be together. I have a couple of friends who that's what they say that they do comics on the side and their day job is like drawing for wrestlers or for events on wrestling. And so I think that really cool together. And I attend a couple of conventions where they have a ring, and that's like really cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And some of the fighters were even like people who were artists. So it was a crazy time. Crazy time. It's a lot of crazy
That
people.
is funny. You would not naturally make that connection.
Yeah, me neither. Until I saw it, okay,
That's
I have
awesome.
to do wrestling with comics, but it does. So okay.
Well, when we originally put that intro together, we wanted to do the famous "Let's get." I don't want to
Let's
finish
get
saying it.
ready to. Right.
Don't do that. Don't do that. He'll come after you.
Okay. I'm very far away, so good luck. Come find me.
Well, we wanted to use that, but we found out that it's copyrighted and he will sue you. And we have no money, so
Right.
Okay. No worries, man. No worries.
Okay. Oh gosh. Well, hey, Christian, thanks so much for being with us. I know you reached out and you're like, "Hey, comic book stuff," because
Yes,
we've
thank
had
you
other
for
comic
reaching
book
out.
creators on there. And we're so appreciative that you contact us because we have had a blast getting to know the comic book creator community. I mean, just people who are wanting to do it on their own.
Yeah.
And who are doing Kickstarters, and it's just been fun to meet people all over the world. Now, do you want to tell people the general vicinity of where you are at? Actually,
Yeah, I'm in the Emerald Island. That's the island in front of the Britain. So Ireland, the hometown of a lot of Americans, especially in the East Coast. I always say that the parade, the St. Patrick's Parade, is a lot bigger and a lot more material than the one in New York, for example, or the one in Chicago, or the one in Boston. I've seen those than the one here in Dublin, the one in Dublin, because I remember that the first time I was very excited. Oh, it's gonna be St. Patrick, it's gonna be a blast, and the parade was not like. Okay, it's true that here is different because what is nice about that day in Ireland is that all the pubs are decorated. The majority of the city is like closed down. You cannot go by car, so everybody's walking everywhere. And of course, there's like booze until the end of times.
Well, that's no different than America.
No, but trust me, it's a different ballgame. Trust me when I say this because I've seen both. Okay, so no, here's a different ballgame.
Okay.
It's like
There you go.
if you follow football, this is like Champions League. Americans are like, okay, you're like UEFA, and okay, whatever. You're doing your best, but this is the heavy hitters.
That's right. That's our
You have to
next
remember that
Kofi
whiskey
campaign.
was invented in Ireland. That's bourbon is American, but whiskey is from here. Scotch is from Scotland, but the whiskey is from here. The oldest distillery in the planet is here. It's like from the 17th century or something like that. It's in the north of Ireland. So they take their alcohol pretty seriously here. Like,
Is that why they call it Scotch whiskey?
Yeah, because it was made in Scotland back in the day. Yeah, and mostly by monks. That's the people who invented all the whiskeys, all the spirits, were mainly monks and monasteries and stuff like that. And so
my roots are Southern Baptist, and I always joke with other fellow Southern Baptists because Elijah Craig was a pastor, and he was the guy who, there's a big debate if it was him or Jim Beam that started bourbon whiskey, because it's Bourbon County in Kentucky, and that did it. But that's how that was his day job, so that he could be a pastor, was he created whiskey.
That's what it's called, spirits. So like that's the whole thing behind it. So yeah, for sure, it was a religious thing. So
who knew everybody we'd start talking about alcohol? Well, maybe Mike knew, but no, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, I'm Spanish, but I'm living here in Ireland for 7 years. So yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. See, I'm thinking, Mike, that we may have to do our next Kofi thing as a field trip to Dublin. We're going to go see Christian, and happens to be around St. Patrick's Day. I'm just saying.
If it coincides, hey, who knew?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'll do it.
Who knew? No, it's beautiful. They decorate the pubs with a lot of flowers, and the city is really nice. Those are most of the days because a very green city, very friendly, to visitors, and also very nature like I don't know how to explain it. This is the only place, and I live in, as I mentioned before, I mentioned you guys before, I was raised in the States and New York, Pennsylvania mainly. So, and I also know Europe, and I know parts of Africa too, and I know a little bit of Asia because my wife's Chinese. So I kind of know most of the world, kind of quote unquote most of it. And Dublin is a very mix of a city with the rural side. It's like integrated beautifully. This is the only place in the world that I go to work and I see ducks or swans on the way my work. Because there's a river and the swans are there and the ducks are there. And for me, what's going on? No, I see horses inside the city. I was like, what?
Oh wow.
Yeah, people with the carts and going with a horse to the. They say, what? At first, I thought, well, this is for tourism. No, that's their horse. That's their thing. They use it for as a locomotion vehicle.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was like, yeah. So it's this very two worlds or three worlds all combined in the same place. So it's fascinating for sure, especially if you come from here. Look like, whoa, okay.
Okay, Steven, you got to pay for me to go to Dublin. Because I sure ain't got the money.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure something out. Field trip. All right. Well, Christian, I want to talk about Pinochia and your project. So what I'd like to do is just have you talk about this project that you're working on.
Sure.
We're going to kind of what it is. I know it's part of it's Unpopular Tales II. So you have a first one.
Yeah.
We'll get into the first one here in a little bit, but this is your primary Kickstarter right now. You still have like a month on it. And so what I want to do is just tell us about Pinochia. Then whenever he wants to, then we can show the video that's on the site. Hopefully everybody, it works okay. But I also brought up those first 6 pages as well, because you have those on your Kickstarter. So we can show everybody that and talk a little bit about that as well. Sound like a plan?
Sure. Well, the whole idea of the studio, because it's the Unpopular Studio, is to bring back the classical folktales to the 21st century and give it a spin of a topic that is relevant nowadays. And our whole idea is like, what were these people will be writing if they were alive today? What will Hans Christian Andersen or the Grimm brothers, or Perrault, the one from Red Riding Hood, or Collodi, the one from Pinocchio, be writing if they were alive today? And we all decided that it wasn't going to be like animal singings and everybody kumbaya, so no. So we wanted to have that spirit, to bring that greediness and that cautionary tales, and that, hey, people, beware of things. The first one we did was Red Riding Hood, as we mentioned before, and this is the second one is Pinochia. And the whole idea is the theme behind is very obvious: it's AI, robotics, automation, etc., And the whole spin is like, hey, what would happen if Geppetto was not a woodmaker, but a robotics engineer in the future, after the war with the machine that we have lost, obviously, and he's like working secretly in a bunkers in the middle of nowhere, trying to create an android who helps bring back the peace between the two factions, because, and that's Pinocchio, that's the girl, she looks like a robot in this number, but as the story advances, she has technology to kind of make her resemble like a human being. She has a nanobots that create skin, nanobots that create hair, and she looks like a human being. So it's very complicated. It's like what they mentioned in Terminator, like, hey, the previous robots, we know they were robots, but this one, they have skin, they smell, so it's very complicated for us to spot them. So it's kind of like that, but not in a bad way. She doesn't come
right.
It comes to help.
Now you are the writer, and then you also have the oh my goodness, my brain. See, this is what happens when you get older, over 50. The artist. I don't know. My brain also went the penciler, the colorer. No, wait a minute. It's all that. I made it overcomplicated. So here, well, I'll bring it up so everybody can see it. Sure. And if for those that may want to go to the site, so the Kickstarter site, what you've done is actually really cool. All you have to do is just go to unpopulartales.com.
That's it.
Unpopular
There you
Tales.
go.
It'll take you right to the
Remember,
Kickstarter page.
right to the Kickstarter page. Yeah, very easy to remember, very easy to Google, very easy to look at. If you're already in Kickstarter, just Pinochia, and that's it. It takes you right to it.
Yeah.
So
All right. So let me get this. I'm gonna while everybody's looking at that. Okay.
I got to say the artwork is beautiful in this. It's really, really good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So
Very
unpopulartales.com.
Yeah.
And then let's do this. All right. So all right, everybody, we're gonna see if I can get this to work.
Trailer.
The trailer to work here. Hopefully it will come through okay. All right, here we go, everybody.
So far, so good.
We love the Matrix.
Yeah, as you say, that looks very Matrix-like.
How much, obviously.
I was created in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by the waste of a dying world. I was bestowed with an insurmountable task. Bring peace after decades of death, persecution, and chaos. I am a grandchild of war, destined to help two camps which hate has fueled for far too long. Surprisingly, I am not alone. Have an odd bunch to make the road a little more bearable. Come with me. To bring hope where there was despair. Respect where there was resentment. Creativity where there was destruction. I am Pinochia. And this is my story.
Nice.
Ding, 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 ding. So go back it up. We need money.
Yeah.
So you actually can see on the influence on the trailer. You have obviously Blade Runner, especially 2049 because of I love what the Villeneuve did with the dumpster in that movie. Is spectacular.
Mhm.
And I thought it's one of those cases that was very easily to destroy the original material because the IP is so powerful, so deep. But he did a really actual good job. So kudos to Villeneuve.
You know, that also reminded me a little bit of Alita.
Yeah, of course, Alita. If you scroll down the page, you can see the influences. Obviously,
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier.
Yeah, obviously, Ghost in the Shell. Obviously, Alita. Obviously, I will mention before Blade Runner. But we always also put like things like Beyond Thunderdome, like Mad Max 3. It's a part of the story that where she's gonna go to one of the cities, one of the few cities that we still
They're
have.
not gonna have a pig farm, are they? Like they do in Beyond Thunderdome.
I'm not leaving it to say.
No spoilers. No
spoilers. Sorry.
Because the city is underwater, so certain things are gonna change. Yeah. Because I was thinking, which are the few places that machines are gonna have problem getting in? And my idea was like underwater, especially under a big pressure. It's gonna be a problem for machines. And the other ones like where the heat is too much, like under a volcano or stuff like that. So, and that's where the two cities are.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so the story part you've got here is Pinochia follows a machine created by Geppetto, a robotics engineer and descendant of survivors from a major human-robot conflict. Desperate to save humanity, Geppetto builds Pinochia, an advanced android that resembles a 12-year-old girl. Equipped with state-of-the-art AI and lifelike camouflage, Pinochia is tasked with finding and aiding the last human survivors in restoring balance between humans and robots. She will be trained and guided by mentors along the way to complete this insurmountable task. Pinochia is a fierce, intelligent, and driven android determined to achieve peace.
Yeah. The whole idea is that she has programs, AI programs that help her with the training because in the first phase on where she was being created and being born and all that, she's just need to learn how to walk and talk and think and all that. And when Geppetto thinks she's ready, that's when he released her. It's a program, you know. And so in order for her to still have help along the way, he creates these AIs to help her. So the first one that she has in this story is E2, is one of the characters. If you go to meet the characters, you're going to see him there. is the character that help her, the guy that help her with the training and combat training and equilibrium training and speed. All things have to do with reflexes, So in order for her to at least survive, to be alive and well, she follows some of the rules of Asimov, like don't harm and don't try to harm people. But there's a slight change in that there's the second rule for her is like, if in the event of her life is in danger, all gloves are off. So she can do whatever needed, because her mission is beyond a single life.
So some of the ideas around that are like iRobot then.
Yeah, correct. And also it's like a little bit Star Trek too, like the needs of the many outweighs the needs of the few.
Right.
All that too is also there. Yeah. So it's kind of like a mix. I would call it like it's a blender of things. Like it's Matrix there, and it's Ghost in the Shell, and it's Blade Runner, and it's.
Well, you also brought up
for sure.
We talked briefly about this earlier, but also influenced by Centennial Man, which is you made a clarification though before the show, which I really enjoyed. Was yes, there's the movie, but you said the book is so much more betterer. Cheers, everybody! Cheers.
That's our thing. If we say much more betterer, you got to take a drink. So.
Yeah,
he's right there with us.
It's not tequila, so we're good. Not
tequila. Yeah, you got it quick on that one.
But that's Asimov, and so
Asimov,
and so you stated earlier that he in his writings, that I have not read them, I've been told to, and I've got them on my list to read.
Writer.
Now, which should I start off with? There's the question of Isaac Asimov.
I will go with iRobot probably because it's the most known, quote unquote. But he has like I don't know, like 80 books or 90.
He's got a ton of books. That's why I was like,
a lot.
Where do I start? Everybody says,
so I will go with iRobot. That's one of my favorite ones of him. But he's like, if you're into science fiction, if you are into cyberpunk, that's one of the guys to go to, like for sure. Like it's like the guy. And why so much the more the book than the movie? The movie that everybody knows about Robin Williams is focused more on like the love story and the story with the father, etc., etc. But the book is more about the experience of the machine, how he starts to understand human beings. Once he seeks, first he's searching himself, and then when he kind of like realized who he is, now he's searching for acceptance of the humans, and that's when he starts to modify himself to become a mortal being, because he realizes that's one of the barriers for him to enter the human race. Is that, hey, if you're immortal, you cannot be human. It's unfair, So
that's part of your blender of what you've taken to put into Pinochia.
Yeah, there's a character that I'm not gonna spoil. It's gonna appear. It has one frame in this first book. I think you can see on the 6th page or the 5th page, something like that. You only see like her hand or her face or her mouth, but she's gonna appear. And that character is following a similar transformation like the character of Bicentennial Man. And we explain why and how she's connected to Pinochia and so, but that's gonna be on the other numbers. First, we're presenting the character, presenting the setting, and the techniques that she's gonna use. There's battles and some action too is gonna happen in this number, but wanted to be at least a 4-number series. That's the whole idea, so we can have something like 130, 140 pages.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna pause the screen for a second. I want to touch base with you. It sounds like you've done a lot of, you're interjecting a lot of different kind of themes, and great themes too, by the way. So it's not just one theme, but it sounds like you've got a multiple of different things coming in. Yeah. And so obviously you have a lot of experience in writing and storytelling. Yeah. So I'm going to come back to Pinochia here in just a minute, because I do want to share those panels because they're great. They're really good. And so I want to show those, but tell us a little bit about your writing and storytelling journey.
I think that well, I majored in linguistics and literature, so that's kind of like a big advantage for me because I've been able to read from since Beowulf until
Okay.
Eliot and Hemingway and everybody in between, Shakespeare and Chaucer and etc. And for me, the one of the most influential writers ever, in my opinion, is Charles Dickens, because Charles Dickens is the first professional writer of history, the first one that he made his life.
I never realized that.
Yeah, by publications, because back in the day, what happened is that most of the writers were paid by a noble or the kings or somebody with a lot of money who gave them money to develop the art. And Dickens was the first one in history, I repeat this, the first one in history who make a living out of what he wrote. He wrote for newspapers and they pay him. That's why if you read his books, that's why he always has like cliffhanger after each chapter, every couple of chapters, because that's what he wanted people to commend them to buy the next newspaper.
Oh my goodness, I never knew that.
Yeah, that's a tidbit of history. And he talked about he created a process. Of course, this is the 18th century. People didn't talk that much about the process, creative writing, but there's a couple of letters and missives that he writes, and he talked about what's called layering. So he says that, hey, I know that the people who enjoy the most of my works are like kids and parents, but I want to write for everybody. I want to have a layer for the kids. I want to have a layer for the parents. I want to have a layer for the mom. I want to have a layer for fellow writers, and I want to have my layer too. And all that are in the same place. And the more you spend time and the more you create those layers, the more depth and the more you can go back to reread and re-see and recheck. Oh, he did this because of that, and this is connected to this, and that is connected to that. Wow. A very good example of this is what Pixar did when he was good, before Disney bought it.
Right. You're absolutely right. That's a whole nother discussion.
With the good exception of Inside Out 2, that Inside Out 2 is a masterpiece. It's ridiculous, that movie, how good it is.
I have not seen it yet. Okay.
My daughter's smiling over you saying that.
Mind-blowing, that movie. Mind-blowing. There was a couple of moments in the cinema that I said, wow. I was like what happened when I saw Matrix the first time. They just like knock on my head. It's like, wow, okay, these guys went there. So, as I was saying, so Pixar had this like, kids enjoy it, but the movie is not for kids. The real target of their audience is the parents, because the parents are going to realize, oh, this is about this. Oh, you're talking about that. And this, the kids don't know that because they don't have that reference. But for the kids, it's fun. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at this, the Woody and blah, blah, blah. But, and for me, that's the model. That's the model that we have for the studio, the Pixar model.
That's interesting that you say that, because Toy Story actually came out before my daughter was born. Yeah. And my wife and I were huge fans of Toy Story, before she, and then after she was born, we introduced her to Toy Story and everything. And then that just became her favorite movie, at the time. So yeah, that's cool. That's very cool.
And I think that's the best art. The one that is the one that last time, the one that's layer, and the one that wants to reach several type of audience, not just one micro focus. Oh, I want to please X or Y, So I want to have something not for everyone, because it's impossible to please everyone, but the biggest amount of people possible. That's what Spielberg did back in the day. He changed cinema. He said, okay, now movies are going to be for everyone, but not really for everyone. If you really look at Jaws, that's not a movie for kids at all.
Oh no, not at all. I love Jaws though. Jaws is a fantastic movie though.
Yeah, of course, it's a fantastic film. I'm not gonna discover here Spielberg. He's a fucking genius.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that he knew this. Okay, I'm gonna bring them with this, but when they're sitting down, I'm gonna talk about all of this that I have here for them too. And this is for the kids, and this is for the moms, and this is for the teenagers, and this is for the dad. And everybody's going to go out and be happy after they saw it, because there was something for them.
I think I could see that in E.T., because E.T., there's, you've got the science fiction side of it. There's even sort of a horror feel to it occasionally. You've got the appeal to the kids, and like you said, you got the appeal to the moms in it. Yeah, I think he kind of hit all of those levels with ET. So that's probably a good example of what you're talking about.
Huh.
The thing is that doesn't happen more nowadays because of how the studio works and how expensive, especially movies are nowadays. That really they spend hundreds of millions like it's candy. So of course, when you have that many money, a lot of people get really nervous if they don't and they don't trust one guy or two guys or a small team. They know everybody needs to meddle and
good word
and,
metal
and put their own just put the stink on it. Oh, I was here, and of course, and then you have this terrible Frankenstein that's not directed to anybody, doesn't say anything, but it kind of looks okay. And that's a problem.
Well,
that's a big problem.
We just had Godzilla -1, which was it cost
Fantastic.
much less than what Acolyte did, and was a far superior story.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a fantastic story. Yeah.
I would say Godzilla -1 was what? Much more better. Cheers, everybody. I couldn't resist.
That was
Godzilla
our favorite
-1
movie in our podcast for last year. That's the one we all agree. That's a good movie.
You're right.
Good story,
I totally
good
agree.
Effects, good characters, good plot, everything, good rhythm.
That was one we talked about. That was worth buying.
Yeah,
that's one that's worth buying.
Yeah,
I don't think it's come out on Blu-ray in the States yet. I haven't seen it. I do got it. I have purchased it digitally though, and I've already watched it once or twice digitally, and I love that movie. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend that one.
Yeah. Because it's that one. There's a person with a vision. I see another very good example of this is Last of Us. Last of Us, we have the thing of video games are complicated to adapt, and it was gonna be a shit show. But hey, what they did, who's directing? Who's the showrunner? The guy who did the video game. So the writer of the video game. So hey, you do it because you know what you're talking about.
I have not watched it. I've been curious about it.
Spectacular, because one of my favorite games. Oh, I have Ellie here.
Yeah. Oh, do you
see it? I have Ellie here.
Nice.
So, cool.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
I remember that. I remember that promo with her playing the guitar.
That's a scene in the video game that every time I say I cry. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, it's a powerful video game. It's a really powerful because it's not about zombies at all. It's good storytelling, very good storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And to do it in a video game, I remember the first time I saw it, I said, "Wow, these guys are really good. These guys know what they talk. These guys know what they're talking about, you know."
Well,
so
do you think we've reached our fill in zombies?
I think that it's like superheroes. They need to let it rest for a while. I think that's because I remember I was talking with my brother. He also come from cinema, and he was a producer for many years. And I remember that we were seeing Endgame, and we both agree, okay, now they're gonna rest because hey, they make all the money in the world. Now they have the best grossing movie of all time. Everybody's rich. Everybody bought new houses, new cars, so they're gonna rest, right? 2-3 years, everybody rest, and we do something else. Nope. No. And that's a problem. Sometimes
that's not what Hollywood does.
That's the thing that American has it. They're like they want to run it to the ground, you know, until everybody hates it. And that's what they did. Yeah, sadly, that's what happened. Because
I think that's I think that's part of the problem with Star Wars right now, because we're getting an overload of Star Wars. Where when we were all growing up, Star Wars took 3 years, between movies and stuff. And it felt like forever back then. But at the same time, we could take all of that story in. We can read the books. We can read the comic books. We can play with the action figures, come up with our own stories. And, we had all this time. And then now it's like, oh, well, we got to put another one out. We got to put another one out. We got to put another one out. And I think with them putting them out back to back and so quickly that they're just just generating crap is what they're doing.
Yeah, of course. I call it the spaghetti model. It's something that I've been seeing for many years in the comic industry. It's like the big studios, the big two. They just throw out spaghettis, to the wall to see which one sticks.
See what sticks.
And the one that sticks, okay, we want to do more of those. But that's not the way to create things. That's just, especially for the people that are involved. I pity the writers and the artists are behind those books that nobody remembers, nobody cares. Like 3 books of Guardians of the Galaxy or 6 books of Batman. It's like, why you need that many? So focus, do less, but with more quality. And what we were talking about before, you can charge people more. If it's good, if it's well done, you can charge people more. So
that's true.
Don't. I always say I come from business. I used to work in banking for many years, and I would say that 2 models for any business. You have let's call it the Chinese model. I know my wife doesn't care about this, but you sell a lot, you can sell cheap, or you have the Ferrari model or the Tiffany's model. You sell less. Every time you sell, you see the money because you take care. You make time. You take care of the thing. You get care of it. It's the whole Rolls Royce story that they test everything every time, that they still do it by hand. So you be able to charge more because you pay attention to the details. It's like designing clothes. Why they're more expensive? Because better material, it's gonna last more. So why you want to compete on the cheap side of things, especially if you're Disney, dude. If you have a small studio like me, okay, I understand it. But you have all the money in the planet, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think you're cheaping out on anything. I mean, your art is beautiful, so
but it would make more sense in a small studio to cheat, because
sure,
to take shortcuts. We don't do because we want to output. We want to have quality material, but it makes more sense. But in a big studio, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. You're destroying a legacy, dude. Disney is for animators. That's the guy who created animation in the West. So it's not a guy that was to sell toys. No. He created animation. His studio created the techniques, the cameras, everything. So you're destroying a legacy for what?
Well, I remember when George Lucas first sold Lucasfilms to Disney, and everybody around me knows I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I had people asking me, so what do you think of the sale? And initially I was like, actually, I think it's a good thing. I think Disney's the right company to carry on his vision, and I think that they have great visionaries back then.
Yeah.
And today, it's a different Disney. It's not the same. It's not the same place at all.
Yeah.
And you're right. They cheap out and they try to take shortcuts and they just pump out more and more and more because they think that that's what's going to sell.
Well, I think that's the other thing. Let's say, Christian, you mentioned Pixar earlier.
Yeah.
In the early days, Pixar was all about story. They hammered story every time they met. It was all about story. And so I think that's part of it is then they've lost when John Lasseter left or forced out or whatever the rumors are, or wherever the story is kind of thing. From that point forward was when it started to go kind of downhill in my mind.
When they started doing Cars 3 and then the sequels, and this, because the problem is that it's not a small studio, because Pixar it's not a small studio, but they have the small studio mentalities. Hey, we're gonna do a movie every 1 year, every 2 years, but every time we go out, it's gonna be an event, and people are gonna be waiting for it. We're gonna build expectations because we're gonna take our time with it. We're not just gonna release because we have a calendar and we have things to sell. No, we don't care about that. But every time everything go out, people are gonna expect certain quality, and that's for me. That's how you should do it. And the thing is that for me, it's a problem with the model also of streaming, that the competition is so fierce that they need to drop something every month. They have to, and of course, what do they have?
Right.
So they need to have a new Star Wars, a new Simpsons, every month. So to keep people subscribe and hopefully gather more people. So you need to have something to hook them. But that, you see, for example, that I think that Apple is doing a better job, or HBO is doing a better job than the Netflix or Disney or Amazon even, because they do less, but every time they do something, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
The quality is outstanding. So, and that's how you win in the long run. You cannot have, especially when you have money to wait. You have to play the long game, dude.
And Disney's got all the money in the world.
Of course.
Yeah.
So you gotta think of the long run. You say, okay, we're gonna have this catalog, this IP that's gonna be 70, 80 years there. It's gonna keep making money. We're gonna keep printing money. But we need to, every time we go out, we need to pour something good. We need to have a good quality product. We need to have a good story with good characters, with a good plot, with good themes behind it. So, and that takes time. That I remember that when Red Reveal back in the day after Endgame, we're gonna do all this, and I was like, wow, how many people are working on this? Because they have to be an army of people to do this, especially with this timeline. But that takes time.
Right.
So,
well, in Disney, they came out and announced when, we're gonna have this movie out by this year, and this movie by this year, and this movie, and they don't even have titles for those movies yet at that point. Yeah. It's like, why are you announcing dates when you haven't even started pre-production or anything? You have no clue. That I don't like what they've done. I think you're right. I think what they need to do is step back, pick 2 or 3 stories, 2 or 3 big stories that have nothing to do with each other. Work on those, develop those, start putting those out, and then keep building off of that down the road. You do this and then move on to a different type of story and then go back to it later. Yeah. I think you're right. I think that's the way. But we are in this society of everything is now. It's microwave. I want it now.
The microwave.
That's the problem.
I don't want it now. I want it right now.
Yeah. Well, let me go back to the
crock pot meal is always better.
Give me the fix.
Oh, hey, let's say goodnight to Sam. Sam is our friend.
Sam.
Way down under.
all right.
So we're gracious for you, Sam. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Followers in Australia too. Really nice people.
Yeah, he's been great to have on the show. And then also Tyler says hi, by the way.
Oh,
hello, Tyler.
Hey, Tyler.
So real quick.
Awesome.
So here's your influences. We talked about these: Blade Runner, iRobot, Centennial Man, AI, Ghost in the Shell. Isaac, I always mispronounce his name. I always say Asimov, but I'm Asimov.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Russian. Has a Russian tingle to
I'm
it.
so bad at mispronouncing his name. I caught myself earlier, and I meant to say
he's dead, so he's not gonna care.
Right. All right. So here's a little bit of the book, but I brought it.
I love your sense of humor.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Trust me, he's good with it.
Yeah. So I'm just going to keep scrolling little by little, everybody, so you can see some of the art.
Yeah, that's the first page.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is we want to have something like an impactful image of the dumpster, so people can see the scope, have an idea of the scope, and then you can see there's a lot of bits and pieces. I'm not going to reveal, but there's a lot of details in those images, a lot of pieces of machinery, or pieces of things and armory, and so there's a lot of details in those pages, and the art is beautiful.
Yep. Now tell us about the artist a little bit as we go through these.
Yeah, Claudio Sanchez is an artist from Spain, from Almeria, from the south of Spain. Fantastic artist. I've been working for him, as I mentioned, almost 10 years. He majored in arts, and he's a traditional artist. He works with pen and pencil and inks, and then he does the coloring on the computer. But I remember that when I met him, he wasn't doing in color. We had a coloring for him back in the day, but now he's kind of like learned to color also his own work. And he has a very, very like bande dessinée, French, traditional, quote unquote, artist style. But he also has a couple of influence here and there. So this is the one I mentioned before, the AI E2.
Yes, that's why I
That's the one
paused
that,
here for a minute. Yeah, because I knew
yeah,
this is the first day. I only thought there was one, so I thought it was interesting. You said there's going to be more, so
it's gonna be more. Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
it's gonna be more because it's one about strategy, about like politics, about like sociology. So she's gonna need more
I love
people to
that
help her.
layer. Love a layer.
Yeah,
I like just
yeah,
that's my biggest thing. I'd say my biggest takeaway today is about layers in storytelling. The with
Yes.
Charles Dickens and that's fabulous. And plus, I just this looks great. It looks great.
So-
The storytelling in it, I'm excited about, especially since what you've shared already, just about kind of a little bit of what's coming without doing any kind of spoilers. Now, this is it's a 4-part, right?
yeah. Our idea is to do 4 parts and then to do a whole paperback with the whole thing with the 4 numbers. So it's 32 pages, so it's a long single issue. So at the end, it's going to be like 130, 120 pages. So a nice book.
Okay.
You know?
So you'll put it once you're done. You'll have a what's that called? A graphic novel anthology.
Next year we're gonna do the Punk Droid Volume 2. That's the previous book we did. It's an anthology of science fiction, and the vibe is kind of like if you put Black Mirror theme with Love, Death, and Robots graphics. That's the idea.
Ooh.
Right? So like technology
cool.
going wrong, dystopian futures, and all that, and with those kind of graphics. And that book did also very well. The number 0 of the story is in that book. It's called The Girl That Wanted to Be Real.
Oh, nice.
That's number 0. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice little
This is-
play on Pinocchio there too.
Yeah, all this is inside her head. It's kind of like it works like the X-Men and the Star Trek simulation.
Yes.
So she thinks she's moving, she thinks she's jumping, but she's not really in the physical world. It's all in her head, in order to build those connections, build those pathways, For example, if you can see her, that's how she really is outside. If you go down.
Yeah, this is what she's going on in her head, but this is really
Yeah.
where she's at.
Exactly. That's how she really is outside. She's not really moving. It's one of those
clothes
VR
made
machines.
the difference for me. That's how I figured it out. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, she's got her overalls on again.
That's also a trick we did, So in the real world she has clothes, but in the other one she doesn't. They think that later she will take out the clothes because she's among robots. So it's very weird. They say, "Why are you wearing clothes?" I say, "Oh no, it's my thing I have from my maker." I take it out. It's very weird. So you see, that's how she is, because that's Ishtar. That's one of the characters she's gonna meet, and that character is very influenced by a character in AI, the artificial intelligence, the movie, but not the one for Spielberg, the one for Kubrick. That for me was even more crazier.
Okay.
Than what he had in store. So she's one of those let's call them companion robots that we all know that's gonna be a huge industry. Huge industry. Okay. So she's one of those companion robots, It's the Jude Law character in that movie, the artificial intelligence. So it's inspired on him.
Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Very
so
cool.
Everybody be sure to check out here. I'll put up the banner back up real quick again. Unpopulartales.com. Take you directly to the page, and just like any other Kickstarter, there's different pledge areas. I'm gonna scroll this real quick. There's just just give $1, well, about $2, the £1, sorry. Euro, that €1. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
Euro.
No
see, I'm not used to seeing it. Man, that's crazy. I'm such a crazy American.
No worries.
But there's the digital, where you can get the digital comic, you get the PDF and the EPUB. And then there's where you get the actual physical.
Yeah, you have the early birds, the first 72 hours until tomorrow. So, hey, that's a very good discount. You have, because the book is 12, the early birds is a little bit less. It's 40% discount. So, hey,
right on. Yeah.
You have add-ons like our previous books. The first Unpopular Tales.
The first Unpopular Tales, right?
Yeah, and then you have the novel. Cool. Oh, that's the comic book, the actual comic book. Yeah, with the digital edition. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have all digitals, all 4 books. digital format.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
It's very, very popular. That's the novel that we did, because normally what we do is we do first like the comic, and then we release a novel that completes the comic, gives it more depth. For example, in this after we finish with the comic, or probably we're gonna do in between, we're gonna do a novel about Geppetto. So Geppetto's story. So how he was raised, and what happened to him, how he escaped.
So an
et cetera,
expansion
et
of your world building that you've done with the comic.
Correct.
Nice.
Very cool.
Correct.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. And there's postcards.
That's what we did with the previous one. Then so we did the comic, and then we did the novel to complement the comic some more idea. Yeah.
Okay, so you've done Little Red Riding Hood, and this is of course Pinocchio. So can we have a hint of what might be to come? What?
We have 2 in the works, because I wrote like already like 7 or 8. I wrote Beauty and the Beast. I wrote Hansel and Gretel. I wrote what's the other one that I wrote? The 2 Little Pigs. And I'm kind of testing out which one I think is going to be the best one. It's something I normally do in my newsletter. I ask my reader, hey, what do you think? What do you like the best to? I give them the pitch. They kind of like choose. Okay, go here. It's okay. We run with that. That's how we chose Red Riding Hood, because I didn't want to do Red Riding Hood at the beginning, but they said, no, it's good because it's a little bit sexy. It's going to help you sell. Blah 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 blah. So, okay, let's do Red Riding Hood. So, for example, I'll give you one example. The Beauty and the Beast is a man. It's not 2 people. It's a model that he has body dysmorphia, in case that every time he sees himself in the mirror, he always sees himself fat and ugly. So that's the Beauty and the Beast. He's both. And the Beast is this voice in his head that always tell him, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
So it's that thing. That's the Beauty and the Beast. And of course, for everybody, he's beautiful. He's a model. He's a beautiful man, but he doesn't see himself that way. He's still like he used to be, like the fat little boy that everybody picked on, etc., etc. And he brings that voice with him all the time. And that's the Beauty and the Beast. Yeah,
that's great storytelling. That's great character right there. Yeah. That's
and every time he sees a mirror, and every time he goes through anything that reflects him, he doesn't see him. So he always sees the other one. So it's kind of like a Jekyll Hyde also. It's kind of like, but not real.
I was thinking that.
So I call it a psychological thriller. That's the whole idea of Beauty and the Beast.
Wow. Yeah. I like it.
Well,
I like it.
Even with our Christian background, we would say, hey, that could preach.
So my father was a theologist, so yeah, I'm being around a lot of many churches in my lifetime. So
nice. No, that sounds like a great take on Beauty and the Beast. I like that idea. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we have several like that. Like for example, Hansel and Gretel is about like elderly treatment, because they are like grandsons of the witch is gonna be like their grandma, and they're just waiting for her to die so they can get the money. So it's about greed and not respecting your elders, but for course, grandma is not an easy target, So
sure. Wow.
So everything is like one of those based on those archetypical characters, and just put it on a 21st century theme, like abuse of elders, or women independence, or AI, or psychological issues, or for example, Alice is a junkie, and all the things she sees, the rabbits and all that, that's all in her head. She's just like waiting for the next fix, so like addiction and all characters, they for me, you can take them to a certain terrain that is actual, it will be more appealing to today's work. That's why they're classical icons. It's not out of luck. It's because the characters are really well designed and really well done by really good storytellers,
Yeah.
So
Well, a lot of the original fairy tales are not what we see through the Disney movies
Yeah, of
and
course.
stuff. And you're right. So it's almost like you're kind of taking it back to more of what it was originally, but you're putting a modern spin on it. I like that. That's cool.
That's our idea, is to bring back that spirit of the classical ones. So
no singing birds.
No singing birds, no everybody gets together, no happy endings, no realistic. More, it's not like they're gonna be all doom and gloom and everything's gonna be all depressive and horrible. No. I don't like that either. But it's not gonna be like, hey, by a miracle, she was horrible, he was horrible, and now he had a revelation and he began. That doesn't happen.
And they lived happily ever after.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. I'm looking forward to this. I'm gonna have to order this. Oh
yeah,
man, you're making me spend money, man.
Hey, you're gonna spend it anyway, so at least I would say that if you're gonna spend it anyway, so please spend it with us. We're at least good people. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the other ones are really, so we're good people.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Very true. All right.
We're lucky. We're almost 70% already funded. We started Thursday. It's 30, not even 48 hours already, and we're almost funded. So we're happy with it, So, but we have some more surprises coming along, and more extras and stretch goals and all that. So it's not.
Oh, nice. Okay. Nice. That's very cool.
So you're telling me. You're telling me I need to hang on. I don't want to order just yet.
No.
I want to take advantage of that deal right now.
We're gonna do with more things,
Okay.
As soon as we get funded, we're gonna do more things. So if you're not familiar with Kickstarter, in any crowdfunding campaign, the most important time is the first 3 days. If you don't get at least 25-30% funded in those 3 days, you have a big problem.
Oh, interesting.
That signals two things. Signals, number one, you don't have a following, and your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your wife doesn't really trust in you, so they haven't given you money. And that's a problem. And the second one is that nobody wants to back a loser. Everybody wants to back who's winning. So if you fund it in 2 hours or half an hour, everybody's gonna go say, "Oh, this maybe I." Take a look at it because hey, they got this money. So that's a strategy. Even some people get very low goal to fund as quick as possible, so they can say, "Hey, I got funded in the first day," and that's like a badge of honor. I want it to be realistic.
Gotcha.
It's true that this is not what we need. This is like the bare minimum. This is like paying the printer and the shipping. That's it.
Yeah.
If we got that, so I want to have at least a little bit or extra to pay the artist a little bit to pay the cover, and to do the everything as we want to do, the prints and the cons and etc.
Yeah,
nice. Well, everybody get out there and support.
I'm doing it today.
Christian.
I'm doing it today.
Yeah. I am too.
Steven Sound.
You sold me.
Never guide these two. Intelligent people. Not only good looking, but intelligent. Good. I like that.
Here is this may be off your feed, Eric.
What's up? Yeah, that's my brother Eric.
Nice.
Nice. A friend of mine. He's Puerto Rican, but he lives in Minnesota. He's a fantastic artist. You should definitely check him out. Eric Calavera.
Okay. All right. So we can move out of it.
We can move out of the
The basement is true. I do the podcast with him, and his studio is in the basement, so he's like totally 100%.
We got some really good podcast friends, the Three Geeky Dads, and their podcast studio is in the basement, kind of thing. They just refurbed it a little bit too, I think.
What I've been told is nice. So.
Hey, these days we'll have to get out,
everybody. That's what I'm just saying.
I'm in the attic. That's where my lady is.
Fun.
So, yeah.
What was that?
Complicated here. I'm in the attic. We don't have basements in Europe, so Everything is in the attic. That's what I have.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't have a basement in my house either, so I'm in my computer room.
Right on. Well, hey, everybody, please make sure to check out unpopulartales.com. That'll take you directly to the Kickstarter page. Brilliant, by the way. That makes it so much easier. And
that's thank for you have to thank the people from marketing that gave us this idea. Yeah, do buy an URL that's very cheap. You just redirect.
And just redirect. Yep.
The Kickstarter address are way too long, and people are not going to remember them.
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
So it's easier for you.
Yep.
For them, for everybody. And then, help us because Eric needs to get out of the basement. So do it for a good cause.
Oh gosh. Oh, Christian, it has been great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure, guys. It's really thankful. And anytime you need me, I'm always here. So
excellent.
Oh, definitely.
Let me know and I can jump in and we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Oh, I think we have all kinds of stuff. We may have to bring him on for everybody. His show, sometimes they'll do a worst of the year kind of thing. So it gave us an idea that we may end up doing the same thing.
Yeah.
We may
no, it's always called 3
that.
haters and a half. So it's like it's all about hate. It's hate. So we talk about Disney a lot. We talk about the studios a lot. We should call the program like Making Friends. Yeah, because we just tear down everything. Burn it to the ground. We don't care.
Oh gosh. Well, I think I would like to bring you back. I'm just going to say this on the show, but to talk more about AI, about storytelling, because as I told you before the show, Mike and I have been doing that and really enjoying it, learning how to write, learning how to do storytelling and stuff, because it's fun. Because I mean, for me, some of it's been just out of frustration of stories today, for me personally, and so that's where I started learning and stuff. But I think there's a whole lot more to be said about storytelling with AI. One of the things that you mentioned before the shows we were talking about was just the aspect of, AI is here, kind of a thing. And so, but you gave an example that I think is really good for the show, just as a prelude of having you back again to talk about it. But you kind of started kind of like a restaurant, kind of an analogy. You want to walk into that just a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. AI is gonna be it's something we talk about in our podcast, and it's gonna be like the consumer is gonna decide if you want something quick, easy, cheap. That's gonna be provided by AI and by AI content generators, let's call them, because I don't think they're really artists. Sorry. And then you're gonna have traditional creators who are not the quick fix, not the quick burger, not the quick fry. Something you're gonna have the restaurant with the waiter, with the good wine, with the music, with everything is gonna be everybody's gonna be at. So that's like it's called the traditional creators, and of course the price point are gonna be very different.
Yeah,
but that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing if you really think about it, because you're gonna sell less, but you're gonna sell at a better price point than what you sell now. So because people are gonna pay for that extra mile because they want to know that, hey, there's a human behind this. And I wanted also to clarify, this is everything we do is 100% a human. Okay, there's no AI, there's no filter, there's nothing. The voice on the video is a real voice for a real person. I know her. I can give you her contact if you want. The cover is done by a real artist and on his computer. Everything is done by hand by human beings, so 100% done by human beings.
Yeah.
But I understand that, hey, this is because it's not something that's going to be applied to the arts, as I mentioned before. This is something that's going to be applied to everything. I always like to compare AI to electricity. This is like the invention of electricity, people. Okay, so think about it. It's like the internet. We know how was the world before the internet. So this is like that.
Oh yeah,
it's a shift.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the tsunami. It's not a tempest or some rain. No. This is the whole thing. Okay, so you better get on with it, and learn from it and see how can you use it for advantage, and also be very honest and straightforward in displaying how to use it, when you use it. So that's also, as long as you do that, and of course, don't steal anybody's creation. Come on.
Agreed.
Be cool.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Agreed. Well,
Agreed.
Steven and I have embraced our Skynet overlords, and we're looking forward. We're looking forward to the Terminators coming. So,
Yeah. I totally understand it. For where you guys are, yeah, I prefer the machine any day of the week, man. Yes, please.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, we better wrap things up and stuff. Again, Christian, thanks so much for being with us. Everybody, please make sure you check out his the website for Pinochia, unpopulartales.com, and please help support him. I won't say he's a starving artist, but we're part of a community, and we like to support each other and encourage each other. And I've made a lot of friends doing this podcast, and Christian, I think this is no exception. This has been great to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Yes,
Once again, it's been a pleasure. And as the most important thing is, you mentioned it, Steven, is when I started this, is the community, dude. I met so many wonderful people, so many wonderful creators, artists, writers, directors, whatever you name it, and very nice, humble, really close to earth. So really happy that I have two more friends in the industry. So it's always good. It's always good.
yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, everybody, thanks so much for joining us here on Two Geeks and a Microphone. If you would please check out our website at www.twogeeksmike.com. There you will find all things about Two Geeks. Also, from that page, you can get to our merch page, which is twogeeksmikemerch.com. Speaking of redirects, we just redirects you to our fourth wall page, where we've got some t-shirts and fun stuff. Also, it is a link to our Ko-fi page, kind of like Patreon, but we think it's much more better. Cheers, everybody.
Much better.
Mm-hmm. But there at Ko-fi, you'll see extra stuff that we've done. We've got a $1 tier, a $2 tier, or a $3 tier where you just help support us. And that just helps pay for the stuff for the podcast. And but we do extra stuff. And the latest things we've been doing have been our AI storytelling and putting them in just basic PDF formats, or just you can read it, enjoy it, and having a good time with them. So we appreciate all of you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. And please make sure you comment below anything you've liked about this show. And we really appreciate the opportunity just to talk with different people. Christian, thanks for reaching out. This has been a fabulous show. Mike, do you have anything else?
Just this one last thing. If you made it this far, please make sure and go and like and subscribe to us on both Facebook and YouTube, or Twitch, Twitter, all those places. Make sure and give the bell a little tickle there on YouTube. That way you will get notified every time we go live. Speaking of going live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math on the rest, because I don't like math. I think I got it all out the right way this time. Anything else? Any last words? Funny anecdotes? All right.
No,
with that said,
enjoy. Have a nice weekend, and God bless.
Thank you. Well said. With that said, over and out. And I want to be a real boy.
Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
May the force be with you.